You've tuned into The Mountain Gardener with your host, Ken Lane. Gardening, it can be challenging, but with these simple insider tips, you'll reap huge rewards. Now, let's tune into today's Mountain Gardener with Ken and Lisa. And welcome to this week's edition of The Mountain Gardener. Your host, Ken Lane, here every week talking about the landscapes of northern Arizona. And we are into a lot of activity in the gardens right now. Right now, we're seeing a lot of pollinators, a lot of birds, and migrations kind of back and forth. You're seeing different kinds of birds. Just saw a golden eagle, not over my gardens, but as I'm driving home over a ridge line kind of stuff. Kind of cool to watch, big birds of prey. But I'm noticing a lot of different pollinators in my gardens. Of course, we've had this generational buildup here. The birds came in, they had a roost, they had some babies, and they had some more babies, and now there are birds everywhere. Bees can be the same way. Butterflies can be the same way. Hummingbirds can definitely be the same way. You start out with a few hummingbirds, and then there's more because they're hatching. They're getting more. They're trying to get their strength up because they know that the migration is coming. And so they're trying to build up their strength of their wings and their body weight. It's a lot going on. I noticed that in my own gardens, there's this beautiful black bumblebee. It's a bumblebee. It's a larger bee, quite large. And it's on my what was it on? Sunflowers. It's on geraniums. It's on petunias. And it looks like a bumblebee it kind of even has some stripes to it, but it's all black. And that is a cutter bee. It's related to a bumblebee. It is a bee. It's actually a pollinator. And it's the one that actually takes and puts a perfect kind of like dime-sized hole in your foliage. What it's doing is it's harvesting the foliage and taking it back to the nest, and they use it in the hive. I actually think, you entomologists, you kind of correct me on this, but I think they're making like foliage stew, some fungal stuff so they can feed their youngs, and there's all kind of this symbiotic thing that happens. They're a very beneficial bee out in the gardens. They do leave some holes in the foliage. It used to bother me. Anymore, I kind of go, they're so cute. Look at him. He's so industrious. Look how perfect the circles are in my foliage. And I have more grace now, so I kind of go with them. Their hives are quite small, just a few dozen bees, of the ones that I've come across. Bumblebees generally are smaller hives than, let's say, a honeybee. And something even smaller than that are mason bees. They're real tiny. They're smaller than honeybees. They're bigger than a fly, but smaller than a honeybee. But they're tremendous pollinators. They actually will help your vegetable, your fruit trees, but they're kind of solitary bees. They go out there. I have a difficult time deciding or figuring out what kind of pollinator they are. I know honeybees and butterflies and hummingbirds, they get all the glory. They're the ones that, oh my gosh, that's the only pollinators in the yard. That is not true. There's almost as many. In fact, there's more varieties of flies, not house flies. We're talking different types of garden flies. Many of them look like bees. And the only way I can tell them a difference is a bee has a different kind of eye than a fly does. So if it looks like a bee with a fly eye, that is actually a fly. It's got a different kind of that, it can see from every angle all the time, like a housefly eye on a bee. That's actually they're pollinating, they're hovering, they're going from flower to flower, tremendous pollinators. And generally they're loners. They don't come out in groups or force. You don't see like honeybees. You'll see a dozen of them on a sage plant or a salvia. You'll see hummingbirds all over a mimosa or penstemons, these different groups. But these flies or solitary like mason bees are just loners. Just kind of go out and do their own thing. And there's a lot of them everywhere, but they're not congregated. They're not grouped together. And so there's a lot of activity, kind of crescendos. It builds up through really the end of October. So it'll be glorious, lots of activity. And then sometime in October, the days will start getting shorter where there's some kind of trigger that goes off. A good trigger, not a bad trigger, for the wildlife in your yard where they'll start hibernating or they'll start migrating. They'll start taking off. So your hummingbirds will be coming. They'll just be where they all go. There's a few always on those feeders. but you'll notice there's quite a few less, or you'll see some different ones. So I encourage folks to keep those feeders, whether it's a hummingbird feeder or just a regular bird feeder, keep those during this migration pattern. They are critically important. That's the most important time that you can take care of your gardens and the wildlife in your yard, because they're moving around. And so the hummingbirds and birds, just in birds in general, that are up north, they'll start traveling this way and they get tired and they need a place to rest. And if you've got a beautiful garden, you will notice an impressive number of different kinds of birds, different kinds of hummingbirds coming to your feeders and going, you're naming them. Oh, there's old Rufus. He's gone now. But we've got a different one coming through, and you'll see the personalities change around the feeders. It's kind of fun time. So keep those feeders up. They need you to help them get to where they're going as they migrate south at this point. And so we are on this central part, whether you're tuned in from Sedona or Camp Verde or Paulden or Hillside, Kirkland, Skull Valley, Prescott Valley. All of us are on the migratory path because we've got the water source. So they're skipping from creek to creek, river to river, stock tank to stock tank, and they're looking for the pathway. And they've got this ancient trail that they just follow back and forth, and it's programmed within there. I think their DNA just knows what to do as they migrate back and forth. Likewise, the youngsters, they're just too stupid to figure out it's time to go. And the old folks, they just ache and they just can't make it. They're just thinking about, can I do it one more time? And so if you can keep those feeders out for them as they figure out, can I make it or can I not? Am I smart enough? Can I take grandpa with me to go down south together? What do I do? So you'll see this interesting thing that happens. That's why your fall flowers are some of the most important. Your echinaceas, your there's whole agastache. There's a whole series of autumn flowers. Mums, of course, get all the glory, but asters are right there. Even a more important phlox, a more important food source for the health. They're beautiful, but they also greatly enhance your wildlife's you can help sustainability. We're all talking about cooling down the earth. Just think about your backyard and the pollinators that are in your own backyard. You can help those directly yourself with your plants and your gardens and your bird bath, you can help them out easily just on a back patio of a condo. They'll find that and go, yeah, I'm just going to rest here on the balcony for a bit and just kind of hang out. And they'll suck on the flowers for a little bit, maybe hang out for a day or two, and then off they go. Now, where'd they go? Well, they're moving. They just needed to rest for a couple days, kind of check into the motel, kind of hang out for a couple days, get your feet underneath it, and get your wings underneath it, and take off again. So it's kind of a fun time. This is the decoration time. I think of autumn as a time. It's a time to rest. The gardens are full. You're good. Yeah, I can accessorize with some pansies. They're in some mums. Yeah, some fall, winter vegetables, fall, autumn vegetables. Yeah, that's good. But the bulk, I'm not like rototilling the entire garden. I'm not getting everything. Everything's going in. You're spot treating a few flowers back and forth. You're filling in with a few extra vegetables, kind of take you through the end of the year, and you're accessorizing with some color to help the wildlife that's out there that's going through your gardens. So it's kind of such a pleasant thing. And so I wish it was just 5 degrees cooler. That'd be like perfect. Oh, although waterfall going to the backyard, the pond kind of floating around, sitting on the back deck, right at canopy level of the mimosas, watching the hummingbirds and bumblebees kind of pollinate all the flowers at the top of that tree and all the color and activity down to below. It's kind of a delightful time. Autumn gardens are the best, and you're by no means limited to I'm out of time. No, there's a whole series of plants that just love to be planted this time of year. And it starts with the number 1, mums, but then aspens, and then maples, and then there's butterfly bushes, all these others that can also go out in the gardens. We've got a lot in store for you. Lisa Watters Lain coming in with your garden questions right after this. Watters garden companion plants for September are Raywood ash, Russian sage, pampas grass, and gold flame honeysuckle.
Gold flame honeysuckle is the perfect vine to cover a trellis, arbor, or a fence.
Also works well when pruned to form a dense shrub.
Purple to deep pink flowers open to sweetly fragrant golden yellow flowers throughout summer and fall.
Deer and javelina proof and oh so easy to grow.
Shop the most fragrant vines in-store or online at wattersgardencenter.com.
And we are back with Lisa Watters Lain in the studio. She comes each week with your garden questions. Just what is everyone else talking about out in the gardens? Welcome to the studio, Lisa.
Thank you. Good to be back.
It is good to be back. It's kind of nice to be autumn. Such a beautiful time. It is autumn. Come on. It's like I was talking to friends who are in Dallas. It's like 100 degrees. They're just whining, complaining, like Texans do. Just kidding. Sorry, Texans. But Dallas is hot. And we're like, oh no, we're going to be 87 today. We're in agony. It'll be like 59 tonight. We can't even sleep with the windows open. It's terrible.
The nights are nice.
Yeah,
the days
beautiful.
are still a hair warm.
For you, they're not quite warm enough for me. So.
Hence our issues.
Well, the gardens are sure loving it. Man, the ivy, the vines are going nuts right now. They're like I'm having a hard time keeping them in check because they're growing so fast. So the gardens are certainly happy. Some things are fading though.
Yeah, some things that got really tired this summer. I noticed some of the maples, some of the aspens are just kind of going, is it bedtime yet? Yeah. I'm ready to go to bed.
Yeah.
They just have that. It was kind of a rough summer.
I think too, the days, the daylight, you can tell the days are getting shorter.
Oh yeah.
And some plants, they have no interest in short days. They want full sun. If they could be in Alaska 24/7, and we want 1 hour of night. And we're happy the rest of the time. As it shortens, you start to see things going, well, it's been a good ride. I think like my tomatillos, they're like, I think we're just done. I've produced. If you should be happy by now, otherwise you don't get anything else out of me. So I think he's being pulled out of the garden.
He needs to. Yeah. He kind of took over the garden.
It's a big plant, like tomatoes.
Big plant.
They're big plants.
I didn't realize it was that big.
Well, plus we put it in a big tall pot. So we have a huge plant, 2 of them in a huge tall decorative glazed pot so it just kind of cool.
May not happen next year.
Okay. All right.
Too big.
You'll forget by next spring. Tomatillos sound good. Let's buy 5. That's the way it goes sometimes. That's why it's good to keep good notes.
Yeah.
Take pictures. Have a garden journal.
Write your notes. Keep your tags. Yes, all those things. Very important.
What are other people talking about?
Well, not their tomatillos. That's for sure. Okay. Jonathan is in Prescott Valley. He needs a good hardy ground cover for a hillside on the southwest side of his home.
Okay, hot. Yeah.
He was looking at the Calgary carpets or the coral beauties, the cotoneaster.
Yeah.
Wants to know, is one hardier than the other? Is one preferable than the other? Is there any other recommendations you have?
Good question. Yeah, good question, Jonathan. So junipers, there's several ground cover junipers, and there's quite a few ground cover cotoneasters. In fact, we have an entire section of just knee-high and below things like that. So, Jonathan, it might be good to, instead of doing your recon online, come in and actually touch, feel, and see what they look like. It's far easier that way. So both are good choices. In fact, if it's a large area, Jonathan, do both. We'll do a groupings of 5 over here, a grouping of 5 over there, and they're companion plants. So they grow together. And so which one is better than the other? They're both really strong. They're both really good. And they're often designed. Like if you're designing one and you've got room for another, you kind of break it up. So it's not just a sea of sameness. Right. Going back to your question, though, and what else would you suggest? Now, I like answering that question because it's unlimited. I guess we did write an article last weekend on ground covers and vines. So a lot of vines everyone thinks of vines as they must grow up something, a fence or pergola, a trellis. Right. They can just grow up a hill or across the yard. So honeysuckle, there's quite a few honeysuckle that are perfect for this. And I would say honeysuckle is used more for ground cover than it is for climbing up thing, or as often used as ground cover as it is up things. An interesting one that I've seen at like Yavapai College, they used a ground cover trumpet vine as a ground cover. You know, it's a steep slope. This is a big red flower. It's like a honeysuckle on steroids. It just grows really fast, really big. But if you just let it grow across the ground, it's like a 1 foot tall, just spreading thing. It was stunning, just stunning. Virginia creeper. That's another vine that's very much in the wild. That's a native plant for here. That's how it grows in the wild, as a ground cover, not as growing up things, but as a ground cover. Well, you can do that. Everyone wants to put it up some sort of trellis work, but it's natively programmed to go ground cover. So I would say those are good. Think of your vines, and then there's some other ground covery kinds of things. Of course, the number one perennial that's used that way is periwinkle or vinca. It's a evergreen, kind of a 8-inch wide, tall, spreading.
Would you use that
perennial?
In a hot
area?
hillside?
Yeah, if you could water it enough. Yeah, that's true. Oh, one that you could is Oregon grape.
Oh,
Or Mahonia. There's a native one. It's called rippens, or ground cover, or carpet. Manzanita. It's not Manzanita. Mahonia. It is actually a good native, strong grower. Once you get established, never care for it. Ignore it. It blooms better in the spring. It has better berries in the fall. Great little evergreen. In the sun, it actually has brighter colors that comes out. So if you get it in more sun, it has this bright yellowy, orange, red color tinge to it throughout the winter. It's quite striking. So lots of choices. I would say take a measurement. Just walk it out, get close. Is it 50 feet or is it 5 feet? And then how deep? Bring a picture and we can help you design that and tell you how many you need to pull off that hillside retention kind of thing.
Yep.
Great question, Jonathan.
All right. Next question is from Emma. She says she was looking for a red maple, but sees that we only have Autumn Fantasy and Autumn Blaze. Is there a reason you don't carry red maples?
Oh, that's a good one. I love the Midwestern folks. Emma, great question. Obviously, from somewhere in the middle of the country where Acer rubrum or red maples are very famous, that one does grow here, and it does okay. It tends to get wind whipped or wind torn or damaged early on when it's young. It just gets beat up, and it's so slow growing. It's a hardwood, and so it just takes so long to fill out. It just looks terrible for the first 3 to 5 years of its life, and then it's glorious. So you will see some around. What we found is when we take a graft, if we take a cutting from a red maple and graft it onto the root of a silver maple, we get what's called a Prescott Blaze. Look for Blaze maple. It's the fastest growing of the red maples. So it is genetically it is related to, but it's a cross. And so we're getting this blend between the two. So we get the fast growing hardiness of the silver maple. We get the red and the leaf shape of the red maple. And now we have a fast growing maple, turns red in the fall, that doesn't get a wind tear or leaf tear when it's young. It's a far better choice at a high elevation, windy area, especially if you're up on those ridge lines where you just get, some of you folks have so much wind, or the valley areas. It's ridiculous how those wind shears come down and just wreak havoc on the landscape, especially when they're young. As plants mature and get larger, they can protect themselves. But we want we want your landscape to look good day one after planting, and then only get better from there. Okay. So Blaze or Armstrong, there's several like that are good.
They're
for
cross. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Next question is from Sierra. She says, I heard you talking about using thyme in place of a traditional lawn.
Yeah.
She was researching it and saw that there are like a bazillion different types of thyme. So her question was, what type of thyme would you recommend for a lawn?
Yeah, so Sierra, so woolly thyme is the one that's famous, but it's so low, it's not really a good choice for a lawn thing. It's more for in-between nooks and crannies like flagstone patios. Yeah, you're better off going with your English, some of your taller, faster growing thymes. Our thymes, and some of them, they're so similar, you can't hardly tell the difference between them.
True.
One have a slight pink flower, one have a white flower, but basically they look the same. pick a good strong grower and just roll with it. You won't be able to tell. They'll get a little bit taller than the regular lawn, probably about, I don't know, just above ankle high. Nice evergreen, super drought hardy. Animals don't eat it. They're not going to dig it up. You don't have bug issues. The dogs can go on it without spotting it. It's got a lot going on, but mainly it's low maintenance. You're basically mowing it once a year. So that's the beauty, with a fraction of the water use. And that's why you're using it. Sierra, great question. So we are out of time. Ken and Lisa Lain, the Mountain Gardeners. Be right back after this.
Watters Garden companion plants for September are Raywood ash, Russian sage, honeysuckle, and ivory feathers pampas grass.
Ivory feathers is a dwarf pampas grass that blends perfectly into desert landscapes.
The ivory plumes reach over head height for architectural style around patios and ponds.
Well suited as a visual barrier or hedge in the far reaches of the yard.
You will find only the brightest grasses here at Watters Garden Center.
Shop in-store or online at wattersgardencenter.com. So garden centers right now are gathering together around the country. There's like 13 to 15,000. We don't know exactly. There's so many of us, but every town has 2 or 3 garden centers throughout the country. And so US and Canadian garden centers, we get together and we try to help each other be better growers, landscapers, retailers, maintenance, or the new introduction of products come out in the fall. So starting in August through September, that's kind of our window. We gather together to get more knowledgeable, to see the new products, to educational. Our teams go off, so we bond together and get better. And so we are seeing some fantastic, unbelievable new products coming out. I don't know why this is the case, but I think part of I don't know why. One, I have this new product called Woolits. We found this up in Chicago. Woolits are a gal out of, Minnesota, has thousands of sheep. And the price of wool, she shears her sheep, and the price of wool is so low, she can't break even. She's going, I've got all this wool. What do I do? I'm going, really? That's a thing? Really? So she bought a pelletizing machine. She puts the wool in and then pelletizes it, and it becomes organic fertilizer. The beauty with sheep wools, what this is as you put it in the soil, it actually absorbs water and expands and adds air. Then it contracts. It actually holds moisture. It feeds the soil, and it enhances the worm and mycorrhizal activity in the soil. It's like this magic new product I've never seen before. They're called Woolits, like pellets, only wool. It's kind of a play on words. The science, I was looking at this, talking to their insider people. I'm going to try to get them on for an interview. It'd be fascinating. These folks are super interesting. Kind of a little mom and pop operation. They package this stuff up and they come in. It's like little tiny pellets. They look like wood pellets, only they're not. They're wool pellets. You add them to your garden soils and enhance the richness of the soil. I went, that's perfect. That's what we need in the mountains of Arizona, where we have such heavy, thick clay soil with no organics. Now we can add organics that actually enriches the soil and expands and lightens up this heavy clay. I'm going to try it out. We're trying it now. But what I'm seeing is it's really great. It could be used in houseplants, raised beds, containers. It's a great product. Woolits, brand new. We'll introduce that, do more with it next spring, but we're starting to get next spring's products in today as we try to figure out how to use them. Another one is sustainability is a big deal. And so we are unsustainable on many of the products that we're harvesting from the earth. And one front and foremost is peat moss. Peat moss is becoming, you're harvesting these peat bogs and they're deplenishing. This is not sustainable for the long term. Peat takes millennia to build up, and now we're harvesting them, and you can run out of this resource. So we're trying to find alternatives to create mainly potting soil. That's the number one ingredient in potting soil is peat moss. Then you do some compost, some perlite, those little white pellets that keep aeration in there. There's a lot of good things. Peat moss is a great product, but it's not a sustainable product. It's better. Is there a more environmentally safe way to introduce soil amendments that's better than peat moss. This might be sacrilege to you. Well, your grandfather would have said, yeah, crazy. But everyone's into gardening now, and it's only getting bigger. And now we're global. We got to find another way. Well, we found it's called Molly's Soils. This gal, another good, smaller, this is a Canadian company. They came up with other additives, whether it's volcanic, different resources to replace that peat moss. It is unbelievable how well this potting soil grows without any peat moss. So we've got three mixes. One's for cacti, one's for just regular house plants, and then one's for just a regular potting soil. So for generic, orchid mix, an orchid mix. So orchids, potting soil for regular houseplants, and cactus. The richness of this soil, it's like a couple dollars more expensive, but way better for the environment and even better at growing plants. Unfortunately, I can't figure out how to get this in bulk yet. I've got to go smaller house planty kind of container, maybe back patio containers. But a fantastic new potting soil that's better for the environment. These are brand new products. Again, we brought it in now to introduce it, play with it, get familiar with it, so we can now recommend it to you all and go, this is the greatest thing ever. Why would you try anything else? You're growing pot, do this. You're growing tomatoes, do this. You're growing herbs, do this. New Mastera, do this. So whether it's a good product for that, we want to sell it with confidence. So we bring it in a season ahead. So we're ready for next springs as it rushes in. Another one, they've got some creativity. This has got to be 3D printing's a big deal right now. And then new, just different new ways, laser cutters, this kind of stuff. We have a new houseplant stand. You got the old moss pole, boring. Oh my gosh, been the same for 50 years. They're doing decorative cutouts of foliage. It's just really fun that we brought in now. So now you can hang up that pothos. It's going to run around the room with a decorative, designer-esque, beautiful plant stand that holds up your plants. Lots of new things coming in. Lots of fun new products coming in at the garden center. We're out for this moment. Be right back after this message.
Watters Garden companion plants for September are Russian sage, pampas grass, honeysuckle, and raywood ash.
Raywoods are superior shade trees for wind and drought locations.
Plant as a single specimen or in a grove for more widespread shade on hot south and western exposures.
Dark green foliage forms the perfect round head with leaves that turn a magical wine red through autumn.
We sell only the prettiest shade trees at Watters Garden Center. Shop in-store or online at wattersgardencenter.com.
And we're back with Lisa Watters Lain. She comes in the studio each week and just shares her garden knowledge, her expertise, a different perspective of how to have more beauty, functionality, ease in the landscape, more butterflies, more fairies, more hummingbirds. There is a feeling, a garden is a thumbprint. It's like a personality, and it comes out in each garden, and each plant will respond to their gardener in a different way. So it's kind of nice to have another gardener, my favorite gardener, in the studio with me. So it's autumn, so the holidays are out, and so we are breaking out our skeletons. We love skeletons. I don't know why. We like dressing them up. We've got Darth Vader helmets. We've got aprons on them, sunglasses. We just make them fun, and they have fun, whimsical settings around them. It's kind of hilarious, actually. So they're just having a good time. I think that's the difference between box stores. I mean, our team has fun. They love coming to work. They love interacting with gardeners. They just love what they do because they're given freedom to be creative and put their personality into our store, which makes a difference for our community. A small business, you get that thumbprint, you get that DNA overlaid. Yeah, we sell plants. We sell luxury plants. I mean, they're nicer than just the average plant. You can go to the box store and buy a similar, it won't be the same quality, won't grow as fast. Eventually it will be as big, but you can have the same plant over there for $5 less, or you can come here and have personality and health and expertise, and just, you can feel the people in every plant that we sell and the experience in which you're buying it. A box store is kind of sterile, it's like dim lights are flickering the corner. There's this echo from the PA system, and you don't have that personal touch. You got that corporate touch, and that I think is how we get so many of these awards. Is we give our team freedom to say, we encourage it. Put your personality into it. This is you're part of us. You're part of the family. Help us be better.
Yep.
And they do. And that's why we have a place where our employees put their roots down. They never leave, which is great. We love it. So anyway,
definitely.
So I went off on that riff.
I don't know. You always get on some soapbox. But yeah, the skeletons are really cute. People should come in and check those out.
Yeah. Along with the mums, along with the autumn plants.
Now you're giving away my whole spiel.
Sorry. Yeah. So mums?
Just on mums. No.
Okay.
Actually, what I wanted to hit on first was there's still a lot of great perennials out there that can be planted now. And they're going to be super happy being planted now because we're past the heat of the heat, but the soils are still warm. They still got some growing time, some time to send out their roots and then go dormant for the winter and then wake up in the spring. I just brought a couple of them that are still looking really nice. So this one is Agastache.
Crazy.
This is Pink Pearl Agastache. Say that without spitting. So Pink Pearl. So Agastache. So I've told you guys about the little hummingbird that hangs around the garden. So he loves this plant.
Yeah, it's a favorite.
Usually in the morning, I'm out there, I see him. He's hitting this thing first. He just absolutely loves it. Great plant. You could use it in place of salvia if you feel like, you know what?
Yeah.
6 types of salvia in my yard are enough. Maybe I want something different. The Agastache is a great substitution for that.
This is also called hummingbird mint.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it is. Okay, hummingbird mint. No wonder.
So animal resistant for deer and bunnies and javelinas, but the hummingbirds and your other little pollinators are going to love it.
Yeah. This one, this is a companion plant to Russian sage, some of your salvias, like you mentioned. It doesn't get as tall and it's not as weedy. It's far easier to care for, to maintain. A true perennial that is just going to be up and glorious for the summer through the autumn. It'll bloom like this into November. It's a crazy long bloom cycle. And then it hibernates underground. You mow it back and then it comes back fresh every year. And so it's just a good, strong plant. The reason it's not so weedy, it doesn't send off seed everywhere, which means it blooms better and it keeps its space. It doesn't tend to want to run across the yard and lift up your rock and do issues like Russian sage does.
You're not going to be pulling it out. It's not going to be in every crook and cranny that you have.
And longer lived than most perennials. Good Agastache.
So Agastache, this is looking really beautiful right now. So I thought I'd bring it in.
And way better than just purple.
Oh yeah,
Purple's boring.
Isn't it nice to have something different?
Have pinks and reds and some of these others is a great idea.
And so I brought in this coneflower or echinacea. This one's called Sweet Sandia coneflower. And I thought this was really cool because the blooms start out green, like a chartreuse green.
That's crazy.
And then as it matures, it turns into more of a pink. You can kind of see one of them.
Inside.
There is a little more pink.
Yeah.
But really cool because you get the change of color on the one plant. And so as the bloom matures, it's going to turn more and more pink. But I actually really like that green color. I think it's really cool.
So this is a rare plant. So echinaceas or diamonds. Your grandparents were growing echinacea, the purple one. Okay, great. It's such a strong grower for here. And we know that gardeners, they get bored. Yeah. They want something different, unusual. I haven't seen that before. They want it to glow in the dark. They want hordes of hummingbirds attacking it. We were trying to bring in, but to have green flowers like chartreuse green that fade to pink. Crazy unusual. You will not find this anywhere else in the state. It's only here because we like freaky plants too. It's just an unusual. Even if you don't like green flowers, it'd be worth coming in. It's like looking at a green rose. They make a green rose. That's unusual. And then it fades to white. Well, that's cool. Well, as it transitions, it is rather neat. And there's a place for this in the garden to add some uniqueness to your
Right.
garden. So, and then hummingbirds and butterflies, they're still going to love this.
And
seed.
the regular birds will love it at the end of the season
Yeah.
because they love the little seed heads that's going to be
Yeah.
on the flower. So
What's the name of this one again?
this one's Sienna Sweet Sandia.
Sweet Sandia,
Oh,
Echinacea,
yes.
Sweet Sandia. Where's that sweet flower that Lisa was talking about on
And
the
everybody
radio
will
show?
go, "Huh."
Well, let me show you. It's green. There you go.
Yeah, they'll go, she's talking about some green flower. And we know right where it is.
It's fun how some folks, they're driving across town, or it's, they're gracious enough to tune us in while they're going from A to B or coming back from church or whatever. And that they caught it. They remembered sort of, but not all the details. And they come in afterwards and go,
Right.
no, I want that. Of course, the staff are, this is a live deal. So they haven't really listened to this
Right.
yet. So it's like, oh, I don't know what they
Yeah.
were talking about.
And we just start showing you things.
Yeah.
Hopefully you'll like something. So yeah, not too late to plant perennials. Also, we have a lot of really good deals on some of our perennials right now too. So if you're looking to refurbish your bed, get some new stuff in there, now is an excellent time to do it because there's some pretty good bargains
Yeah.
out there for the perennials. So, okay, that's that. Fall veggies.
Okay.
So fall veggies, we've got
It's
a
time.
wonderful supply in right now. That would be your lettuce, kale, broccoli, cauliflower. We've got some onions. We've got some beets. Just a really nice selection of varieties of lettuce,
Yeah.
not just one variety. There's some really nice varieties in there. So now might be the time to think about where you want to put those in your fall garden, especially as the tomatillos go.
Yeah.
And the zucchini
It's
bit
gone.
the dust.
Yeah.
So now it's time to start thinking, I can rework these areas of the garden, get them ready to put my fall veggies in.
So people don't realize if they're new to this milder 4-season climate, you can have broccoli, cauliflower, spinach through the end of the year. You can harvest those for Thanksgiving and Christmas dinner fresh from the gardens. It's very easy to do because we're cold, but we're very mild. It's nice during the day. So you can get an actual third season out of your gardens very easily with some of these fall, and they fill in so quickly.
Right.
Compared to the spring season, they kind of sit there and look at you, and then they finally fill in, and then it gets too hot and they bolt. They don't do that this time. It's almost a better time of year to plant those.
Right.
We are out of time, just like that.
Look
Be
at
right
that.
back. Watters Garden Companion plants for September are pampas grass, honeysuckle, raywood ash, and lacy blue Russian sage.
Lacy blue Russian sage is a Watters preferred perennial for its compact form that doesn't flop over in the landscape like others.
The spiky blue flowers bloom summer through fall with aromatic foliage detestable to all animals.
Simply stunning at the edge of dry stream beds mixed with wildflowers.
Shop in-store or online at wattersgardencenter.com. So we are into the autumn season, and I think autumn is underplayed. I think it's one of the best times to be putting new plants in the ground. And here's the reason why. First of all, you get more plant for your money. Either you get this shift between summer and fall and winter plants, so you can get them at a discount or on sale or at a reduced or multiple price. So the summer plants especially, and there's nothing wrong with planting those, just they're past their prime. Crepe myrtles. They've been blooming for 2 months now. They've been glorious. And now they're starting to not bloom as much. They have their little bean pods that they kind of throw on there, and they've lost their glory. Well, we don't want those. We don't winter those over. I'd rather have you take them. Get them out of here. We've got fall plants coming in. So the grasses and the amber maples, there's all these huge mums. There's all these different flowers and plants coming in that are in their peak during the autumn season. So you can buy them at a value price. That's good, the previous season. And then the plants that are coming in, let's say a peak season, you've got a smoke bush or let's say a Rose of Sharon or different evergreens, maples, aspens, they're coming in and they're bigger than they were in the spring. So they've been filling out all season. So you get more plant for your dollar. They aren't at a discount. They're regular price what they've been all season, but they're bigger because they've been growing all season. So it's just a great time. They transfer into the ground with less transplant shock because the ground is warm. The days are cool. The nights especially are cool. That wind that just whips through stuff Spring is like a windy time when that's not good, especially as you have this brand new growth that comes out. It's harder on plants. Well, the foliage is mature now, and that crazy nonstop wind of spring is kind of, yeah, it can be blustery, but that prevailing southwest wind, that's not there like it is now. So they root out faster, they adapt easier. So it's just a good time to be planting for plants, especially bigger, let's say big let's say spruce or pine or firs or cypress junipers. These big, you need a privacy hedge. Whew, now's the time. This is your peak, kind of your ideal time to be planting those. Now, if you're planting, now I encourage it, obviously, but if you plant now, you're going to need to take care of it through the winter. And so it's not like you can just put it in the ground, water it once, and you're done till next spring. That is going to fail miserably for you. It's not going to be good, not going to be pretty. You're going to think, oh, I'm such a bad gardener. No, you're a bad waterer or carer for plants. If you just watered things throughout the winter, you would have been fine. And so that's the caveat I notice. The difference between, let's say, Midwest or Southern, they're saying fall is for planting. That's true because you put it in the ground, everything turns to ice, and you don't care for it. We don't do that here. I mean, first of all, who lives in that kind of climate? Here, it's so nice. It's January. It's still beautiful out. Well, plants are also still rooting at that point, and they're still using moisture. They don't have this permafrost. We keep growing. And so you'll get more growth next spring. So you're watering things. I would say water like you normally would through October, the next couple months. Then sometime in November, we start to throttle back. Oh, it's obviously transitioning with the end of autumn. And so then you can throttle back to maybe turn that irrigation back to once a week, once every 2 weeks. And so I'm already starting to adjust my irrigation backwards a little bit. And so I was at every 7 days for my trees and shrubs. Now I'm at every 8. I was kind of chicken. I should have gone every 8 or 9 or 10. I'll do that in a couple of weeks. My container gardens, I was at every day. Now I'm at every other day. The shrubs and flowers and kind of perennial flower stuff, I was out every 4 days. Now I'm every 5. So I'm just slowly backing it off. I'm not playing with the length of time. I'm just going longer in between the water cycles. And that's how you play with that. And so good time to be planting. Some of your best plants are now, because they're big and they're bold. Grasses, you cannot find an ornamental grass. They're some of the most beautiful, most luxurious plants. Rare. So many of them are natives. They're just like, we've got a beautiful grama grass, and the grama is kind of freaky. The seed head doesn't go up and down, it goes horizontal. So it looks like the seed heads are hovering like little spaceships across this knee-high grass. It's really cool. You just don't see those in the fall of the year. You only see them now. And so I just got a whole load of maples. Beautiful 5-gallon autumn blaze kind of maples. They're cute as can be. They're nice, full, plump, juicy plants. You can go with a little bit smaller plant now, because they are going to root and take off. They'll put 3-4 foot of growth on by putting them in the ground now. You'll get a lot more growth next spring by planting now. And you get the fall color. Hey, that's a win. That's a trifecta. That's a win-win-win all the way around. Anyway, that's lots of good things going on in the gardens. And then, of course, your fall perennials and your fall annuals like pansies and violas and snapdragons, your fall vegetables like broccoli and cauliflower and spinach and lettuce. These are all things that would not appreciate being planted a month ago, but they love to be planted right now, because a month ago it was still kind of warm. The nights were warm. Now it can be, okay, yes, it bumps up it flirts with 90, but then it comes right back down. So it cools. It's not so much how warm it is during the day, it's in the evening. Can you sleep with the windows open? Because if you can, your plants can. And they just go, oh, this is so nice out here. I just love it. And they grow like crazy. And so you got easily a month, maybe a little longer before autumn color shows up. You can see a little tinge of things where the plants are stressed. That should be a concern for you. If your plants are turning color early, that is not good. So it's you got a problem, come talk to us right away so we can correct that. But the rest of us, a healthy plant, it's out there in the yard. It's going to be another, sometime in October, things start going. And autumn kind of goes from October through the first part of December. That's kind of that peak window. If you're down to the lower elevations like Cottonwood, Camp Verde, Sedona, maybe it's a week, 10 days, a little bit later. If you're but the higher elevation, Groom Creek, Highland Pines, Ash Fork, maybe it's 2 weeks ahead. But basically, we're all sort of in the same window. This higher elevation of the mountains of Arizona, it's going to be October, November is our true autumn season as far as fall color goes. That's when the maples and the aspens and all those different robust colors, your nandinas start to get that tinge of red over top of them, that beautiful color. The mums just get more and more and more glorious as we get into. I'm going to pick my first pumpkins. So I'm going to take a pump. Okay, it's time. It's decoration season. My pumpkins are ready, at least a couple of them. I'm going to pick those, bring them up, and put a few mums around and do my autumn thing like I do every year. It's super fun. It's part of the joy of gardening is you get to harvest things, not just to eat, not just to cut, put in a vase, but to actually decorate the front door, kind of accessorize your patios, your decks. And pumpkins are a good one. Echinaceas are a good one. Sunflowers are a good one. There's certain things that I do that I plant earlier just for this season. It's kind of a weird thing. But if you're a decorator, gardener, artistry at all, creative at all, you see the joy in that. And I think you have to have a creative kind of vibe to you to be able to garden. You just have this, or at least this great expectation. You're putting a small tomato plant in the ground and you fully expect it to have tomatoes covering this beautiful head high plant. And you just see that gets you giddy inside. You kind of go, you can just feel the childlike spirit comes alive when you're gardening. That comes alive when I pick my first pumpkin and I go out and I put it by the front, put it on that front chase lounge and kind of go, there's a pumpkin. It's right there. And here's some echinaceas to go with it, some marigolds. And when I pull my tomatillos out, I'm going to put some broccoli in so I can harvest that for Christmas dinner. That is that childlike innocence, not innocence, just excitement that happens with gardening. That's one of the joys. Got more in store for you. Got to take a break here. Be right back.
Watters Garden companion plants for September are Raywood ash, Russian sage, honeysuckle, and ivory feathers pampas grass.
Ivory feathers is a dwarf pampas grass that blends perfectly into desert landscapes.
The ivory plumes reach overhead height for architectural style around patios and ponds.
Well suited as a visual barrier or hedge in the far reaches of the yard.
You will find only the brightest grasses here at Watters Garden Center.
Shop in-store or online at wattersgardencenter.com. So I am an artist, basically. Yes, I run a small business, but I love plants. The reason I love plants is not for the living, breathing thing they are, but how they react to and enhance your environment, how you can blend the different textures and colors and heights and fragrances together. It's truly all five senses brought together and heightened your senses. And if a great garden is done well, it draws you in, you lose track of time, you just start taking interest in the little things in life. Your cell phone kind of disappears. The birds start to sing sweeter songs. The radio even plays better songs, all because of a great garden. That's what great design can do for you. You should be able to sit in your backyard and kind of go, I just love living here. That's what great landscapes and that environment. It's not the sofa. It's the vista. It's the shade. It's the hummingbird feeder. It's an experiential thing. It's much more than just that. And so part of this artistry is I like the podcast, the radio show, the writing a garden column, the photos that go with that. I'm a photographer. I like taking the pictures. And I like creating ads. It's basic graphic designers. You graphic designers out there, you know what that's about. It's this beautiful imagery, the depth, the colors, which fonts, the colors, how it flows. When done poorly, you kind of go, oh, you cringe. You go, oh, that is so 1990s. And when it's done well, you're going, cool, that's pretty neat. I got to look at that again as you scroll through. And so I create stickers each month. Bear with me. Hold on. Don't tune out yet. Hold on. So we've got these different sticker drops. And once a month, I'm creating this. What I find is I've got magnets and stickers. The older folks love magnets. I don't know why the difference. And the younger folks love the stickers. I'm going to try to convert this into, if you're a travel guru, this is now I'm seeing stickers on like luggage. Instead of putting that cheesy piece of satin tie on your handle of your carry-on, put a sticker. You got a travel Globetrotter sticker on your Watters Garden sticker. The newest one I played with basically holographic. It's got this depth or 3D thing to it. Of course, garden-esque. Yes, it has our logo on it. It's not the primary thing. It's about the flowers, but it's coming from us. It is a branding thing, but it's getting a following. So this week, the September sticker dropped. Please come and get one. Every customer that buys anything can have one free. Usually, normally we charge $5, but anyway, so that's kind of a fun new thing. And I like doing that because it takes me an hour to create one. You're doing it computer wise. It's this image you have in your head. You try to put it down in sticker form. And it just comes out, and the team goes, "Oh, boss, this is the greatest thing ever. Oh my gosh." And you're starting to see them on people on the staff on their bumpers. That means, oh, that's good. That one worked. Another one are garden classes. Every weekend we have a garden class. This week it's the tough 8 and how to plant them, how to grow them. So the toughest of the tough. Next week, the privacy screens in the secret garden. And then stunning container garden, September. And then we keep going through October, of course. So those are all available. They're free. They're at 9:30 on Saturdays here at Watters Garden Center. Come hang out with some other really cool people called gardeners. They're very fun, interesting, engaging people with great questions. And hopefully you'll take a few garden tips away with you that just kind of go, yeah, that was good. It was entertaining and I got something out of it. That's what it's meant to be. Here at Watters Garden Center. You can take a look at those at wattersgardencenter.com. Until next week, Lisa and I camp out here at Watters Garden Center. Watters Garden companion plants for September are Raywood ash, Russian sage, pampas grass, and gold flame honeysuckle.
Gold flame honeysuckle is the perfect vine to cover a trellis, arbor, or a fence.
Also works well when pruned to form a dense shrub.
Purple to deep pink flowers open to sweetly fragrant golden yellow flowers throughout summer and fall.
Deer and javelina proof and oh so easy to grow.
Shop the most fragrant vines in-store or online at wattersgardencenter.com.
For a more fruitful garden, increase success in the landscape that just feels better, then tune in daily to the Mountain Gardener podcast. Subscribe through your favorite podcast streamer or visit wattersgardencenter.com. Better yet, visit me directly right here at Watters Garden Center. Thanks for tuning in.